Welcome back to my channel, everybody. My name is CringeyJesse, and we are back with another Formula 1 Manager 23 video. We're going to start round 6 here in Imola. However, I have come to my first dilemma, I think. I'm not really sure. As we scroll over here to cars, I'm missing parts for car 2, right? Poor Nico Hulkenberg. I ain't got no chassis. I ain't got a single one. Currently, however, I do have one being manufactured. So if one goes missing this weekend at all, they're done. They are done. I also spent to get some suspensions manufactured, a little more than just one. I can't even really start my research yet because I'm at 500,000, sorry, 500,000, and even if we didn't wait, well, hold on, they need this. We're just gonna give them all of this, all of this. But it doesn't matter. It does not matter because come on, thank you. We're gonna go in here, right? We do what I always do and just push them all the way up, even if it goes back to normal. I think it goes back to normal. Not a lot, but it does move a little bit. I need 1.450. That's what I need. 1.450. I'm a million short. That don't do nothing except lower the days. That don't do nothing. It's not gonna let me, bro. So yeah, we've come to our first real dilemma here because of this new thing where these run out. All these parts, they run out. I'm gonna need more side pods soon. I'm gonna need more suspension. What I think I have more of. I'm gonna need more chassis. I'm gonna need more front wings. Like, research and development is going to be a struggle this season. It really is. And that is going to put a challenge to our cars. Because I only have 500,000, like I said. And if we go over here to facilities, I still gotta upgrade all of these. I still gotta upgrade all of these. Just so some things are better. The only thing I've really been working on, where's it at? It is, no, stop, up, thank you, is my race simulator. And I can't even upgrade that one until I'm at 5 million. This is crazy. So anyway, with the dilemma over, okay, so I accepted something, not even thinking about it. And now I'm 500,000 in the hole, which I'll get that back after this race. But damn. But we're going to see how everything looks after practice and before qualifying. And speaking of, that's where I'll see you next in qualifying. Okay, so they've actually added that into the game. I did not know that. I feel like I should have known that, but I did not know that. So Q1 will be on hards, Q2 will be on mediums, and Q3 will be on softs.
Okay, Jack is good.
Kevin Magnussen, he's going to have to fight some traffic. Hopefully he can make it through this time. Jesus, who the heck was that? Was that an Alpine? It was. It was Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly trying to ruin my guy's laps. Hulkenberg going faster so far through Sector 1 here in Q1 over Kevin Magnussen. He's coming up on a Williams. Hopefully the Williams gets out the way. It looks like he did, thankfully. Nico Hulkenberg still going faster through this lap over Kevin Magnussen as Kevin Magnussen comes around the last two turns. Down to the start finish line, he's going to set a 118. Hulkenberg a 115. Magnussen 2.5 seconds off of Nico Hulkenberg. We are going to look at his times as he comes across the line to start his final lap all the way down P20. We just got to get into P15 or above, hopefully above P15. Green Sector 1, I like it. I like it. Here comes Hulkenberg finishing out his sector, hopefully pretty soon. You would think. You would think. There he is. Green sector 2 for Kevin Magnussen. A green sector 1 for Nico Hulkenberg. As we come down to the final. Okay, we know it's a checker flag. You don't have to. Oh my Jesus, I messed it up. Kevin Magnussen all the way up into P5. We're going to watch Hulkenberg as he comes around the last 2 turns. Up, past the line, improves, P6. P6 for Nico Hulkenberg in Q1. P8 for Kevin Magnussen in Q1. As of right now, Hamilton down into P11 now. Here he comes around the last turn. Is he going to improve as he goes down to 12? He does improve, pushing Magnussen down to P10. As K-Mag, who did leave second, is now all the way up because we pushed his tires to get them nice and warm. What we didn't do was put these people down so we could see their times. Obviously, K-Mag being the first one around the lap is going to get a purple sector 1. And Hulkenberg already doing faster, so maybe this is a second lap only kind of thing. Let them do what they do on their first lap. And if they're struggling, we'll come back and revisit this as Nico Hulkenberg puts in a purple sector 2. Going faster than K-Mag through the lap. K-Mag already catching up some traffic. That looks like a Williams to me. As he comes across the line with a 115. No, he doesn't. Well, he might have. He might have been a 115. Last lap. Yeah, 115.3, 115.1 for both of our Haas drivers. And deploy and get that Joker going faster. He's already at 50%, so I hope he makes it. What am I doing? What am I doing? His battery is empty as he comes around the last 2 turns. He's going to come across the line. Improving none. Improving none. Hulkenberg, who 2 yellow sectors so far, probably not going to improve at all either. P9. So even if Nick DeVries gets him, he's just going to be P10, and he does not get him. As Nico Hulkenberg, which we have not been doing, even though this is purple sectors because he's going to be the first one. 114.9. Maybe should have deployed a little bit earlier, but we'll see. We will see. We go back down to his times. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg in Sector 1. I believe Sector 1 ends somewhere up here around the U-turn thingy. It's a yellow Sector 1. That is not good. Not a good start for the second lap on fresh softs. Now I'm worried, actually. No, he's pushing. Green Sector 2. We love it. We love to see it. We know it's a checker flag. You do not have to remind us. Coming around the last turn here. A couple other people have already finished. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg to improve, but not position-wise. He actually falls back down to P8, which I'm sure he did at some point throughout the lap, as Ocon, Hamilton, Perez, Stroll, Verstappen, Sainz, and Leclerc are all ahead of us. Alonso was the only one who could push us down, and he did as he moves up to P6. Hamilton, he's going into the pit lane, and Perez coming around the last turn. Is he going in the pit lane? He goes into the pit lane as well.
Race day has arrived, and the time has almost come for these drivers to fight it out, wheel to wheel.
Imola can really reward consistency, as Nigel Mansell showed here in 1992 when he became the first driver to ever win the opening 5 Grand Prix of a season.
What can we expect from that man right there, Charles Leclerc?
They've done really well to get pole position. I mean, what a tremendous chance they've got here today.
And seeing it all come together is sure to be a thrill. An exciting race ahead for us here at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Here in Imola, the drivers are ready to take on the 63 laps of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Now, this could be an important race for Pierre Gasly.
15th is not the grid position they would have liked, but they'll be focused on a points finish.
And it looks like we're good to go. This is it. the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go indeed. Hulkenberg P9, Magnussen P11 to start this race. And I'm really hoping for good outcomes. Hopefully, maybe, possibly, both of my drivers in the points by the end of it, as Hulkenberg is struggling with Russell at the moment for P9. And now he looks like he's side by side with Esteban Ocon coming around the chicanes. Is he going to get in front of Ocon still on the inside, side by side up into P8 according to the sidebar there, and Ocon is behind him. So now P8 for Hulkenberg, P11 for Magnussen here on lap 1 as of right now. Leclerc still your leader, which may or may not change. We're kind of hoping that it doesn't. Max Verstappen has won enough races as it is already. Nick De Vries looking to make a move on Kevin Magnussen as Esteban Ocon gets back in front of Nico Hulkenberg, but Nico Hulkenberg keeping it side by side, coming down the long straight here to the final 2 turns. Hulkenberg now P10 as George Russell gets in front of him, and there is a yellow flag. It is Nick De Vries? No, it was not Nick De Vries. It was Albon. Nick De Vries got in front of Kevin Magnussen. That's what that was. Albon locked up, but he's in the back of the pack, and that does not faze me at all. As it is now Hulkenberg and Nick De Vries side by side. Nick De Vries up into P10. Nick De Vries in the top 10 at the moment. Side by side with Hulkenberg is Pierre Gasly now. As Pierre Gasly looks to take P11 away, but Nico Hulkenberg not letting it happen down into turn number 1. That's always a good thing. As we skip up to lap 4. Why did I say turn 4? Lap 4. Pierre Gasly finally makes that move on Nico Hulkenberg. Now P12, P13 for my guys who started out P9 and P11. But as of right now, the goal for my races is, I would love points, but I'm going to try to keep them up above top 15. And as there is collision between the Ferrari and the Aston Martin, is it big? Is it major? Not really. The Ferrari keeps going. The Aston Martin is going to slow down Lewis Hamilton, and looks like Esteban Ocon. Oh, they're overreacting. He got away from it. Y'all need to chill. Now on lap number 9. Kevin Magnussen, who has always started off poorly in the races, but somehow finishes a lot stronger. Usually stronger than Nico Hulkenberg, makes the pass on Nico Hulkenberg. So now Magnussen up into P12. Hulkenberg down into P13 as this race continues. I lost my words. I am so sorry. But by the end of the lap, coming down to the last 2 turns, Magnussen already in the DRS range of Nick De Vries. Can he go ahead and jump up into P11 before the end of turn 1 here on lap number 10 as he looks to take the outside in front of the chicane, and in front of Nick De Vries he is by the end of the chicane. There he is. Kevin Magnussen, like I said, always starting off bad in most of my races because of poor qualifying, ends up doing a lot better than Nico Hulkenberg, who is also now in DRS range of Nick De Vries here on lap 12. Can he get it down into turn 1? He cannot, but there is another turn, another chicane coming up, and nope, still cannot do it. Nick De Vries placing his car very strategically in front of Nico Hulkenberg, making sure that he does not get the pass. Coming up on the next lap, DRS, ERS activated. Nico Hulkenberg looking for a way around. Nick De Vries doing the same exact thing, not letting it happen. No, not letting it happen at all as he's skillfully putting that car right in front of Nico Hulkenberg's path. And we come to the next lap. Nico Hulkenberg still right there. ERS, DRS activated, looking for the outside. He gets the outside, and by the end of the chicane, he is back in front of Nick De Vries. My drivers, a P11, a P12 for the Hasbros. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that joke, but we're going to leave it in for now, as there is another yellow flag, and as we watch Nick DeVries, who is doing really well, hits the curb and just goes right off. Is it enough for a yellow flag, safety car, anything like that? It does not seem that way, as we are back to racing speeds. Kevin Magnussen up into P10. P11, Nico Hulkenberg. Moving up to lap 27. Not a lot has happened with my guys, but it is starting to rain. And as we look up ahead, the leaders are going into the pit lane. So I think what I'm going to do is bring in Kevin Magnussen to go onto the intermediates. And I'm going to have Hulkenberg, even though I could probably pit him now and it wouldn't bother, I'm going to let him go up. Maybe, because since the track is still technically dry, maybe he can get some speed on some of these cars. As Kevin Magnussen comes out P11 still, but he did pass Pierre Gasly in the pit lane. We were faster in the pit lane than Pierre Gasly in the Alpine, so now we are in front of Gasly, and now we don't have to worry about that. On the very next lap, Nico Hulkenberg, P9, he is in the pit lane, but it doesn't look like he got far enough ahead to do anything, as Pierre Gasly and Kevin Magnussen both pass him. Kevin Magnussen back inside the points. Well, for the first time this race, he is in the points. Hulkenberg comes out P12, 18 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. Nick DeVries has crashed again. Nick DeVries coming around, and oh Lord, as he spin out, he hits the wall. Is that enough for a safety car? Or is it going to be the same thing where it's just the same thing? Once again, we are back to racing speeds here in the dampness of Imola. Imola? Did I say that right there? That almost sounded like Ebola. Lap 33, P10, P12 for my two guys. As Kevin Magnussen is looking to do his best to hunt down Esteban Ocon, who is in P9. Right now we are pretty much safe, I would say, about 3.5 seconds in front of, 2.5 seconds in front of Nico Hulkenberg, Pierre Gasly, and about a second behind Esteban Ocon, even though there is no DRS because of the rain. The second thing doesn't matter. We don't have to be in sign for anything special, but the closer we are, the closer we are to a pass up into P9. 1 point is good, 2 points is better. Let's see what we can do, as we still have everything looking pretty good. I think the intermediates are going to make it to the end of the race, so I'm not really worried about anything there. As we skip on up to lap 48, that's actually lap 49, as the leaders are crossing the finish line, making it 15 laps to go, but not quite for us, as we are still on lap 48, coming down to the end. The last two turns of lap 48, it'll be about 15 laps for us. Still P10 and P12 for my two drivers, as Kevin Magnussen is getting closer and closer to Esteban Ocon in hopes to make the move up into P9. Hulkenberg doing his best to get closer and closer to Pierre Gasly. There's still time to do it. I'm hoping that he can find a way, but there is only one way to find out, and that is to get to the end of the race. We got a couple more laps ahead. We're now down to 10 laps to go. Esteban Ocon still leading Kevin Magnussen, and Hulkenberg just dropped off of Pierre Gasly. Now close to 4 seconds behind Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly, however, looking like he is catching up to Kevin Magnussen, as he is hitting that 1 second mark behind. As here we are coming around the last turn, looking at Nico Hulkenberg. Now he's got 10 laps to go, and he is about 3 seconds behind. But Kevin Magnussen, oh, it looked like he was about to try to make a move right there on Esteban Ocon, but he is as close as he can ever get. And as you can see right behind him, there is Pierre Gasly, who looks like he's also trying to catch up. So I'm really hoping that I can get Kevin Magnussen in front of Esteban Ocon before Pierre Gasly gets there, because I would rather get points rather than no points. And if Pierre Gasly pushes me out of the top 10, that might just be the end for Kevin Magnussen in hopes of getting points. Here on lap 59, Kevin Magnussen looking at the inside, going up to turn number 1 into the chicane. He does not get it. It was very close, but he looks for the inside once again, and so close. Esteban Ocon makes The move inside around the U-turn. There goes Kevin Magnussen as he looks like, did he get it? He did get it. He is past Esteban Ocon up into P9. And now there's a yellow flag. Magnussen overtaking. Okay, but that's not why the yellow flag is up. Let's see. George Russell crashed on turn number 13. We got to look at this. Here we see George Russell right now. It looks like he's behind a Ferrari and right off the road into the wall, just like Nick DeVries did earlier in the race. Not good enough for a safety car, however. I do need to apologize to David Crofty. I got a little excited there. I didn't let him talk. We all know that's his spotlight right there. He doesn't get to talk much throughout these races. But Kevin Magnussen, under 2 seconds to George Russell in P8, who has crashed. Does he have problems with his car, like a front wing damage with only 3 laps to go? Does front wing damage, does he have anything that might be slowing him down, as it looks like he's staying around that same spot for now? Getting closer, it looks like. No, we are getting closer. We were closer to 2 seconds, and now we're just above 1 second as we come around the last turn. That spark coming off the ground looked like it was coming off the light there for a second. That would have been cool if that was a feature, but it is not. I think this is where we have 3 laps to go, and Kevin Magnussen under half a second to George Russell. Kevin Magnussen looking like he might be able to get points. More than 1 point, more than 2 points. He might get into P8, up into lap 62. The rain has stopped. The rain has slowed down, and we are right on the tail of George Russell coming around the chicane, looking for an inside or outside around. Last 2 turns of lap 60. I want to say 61 because we're about to pass this line, and it's still going to say 62. So we are not there yet. However, Ferrari, he's coming around the last turn to start the last lap. There he is. But we are on lap 62 looking for the inside on George Russell, but we did not get it there. Coming around, we're still right there. And Esteban Ocon behind us. Nico Hülkenberg at some point passed Pierre Gasly, but we are watching Kevin Magnussen right now, P9, looking for a shot at P8. It would be the highest finishing spot for either of my drivers. Yes, we know the rain stopped. The rain stopped a long time ago. You do not have to interrupt my race to tell me this. We're going to go ahead and put Kevin Magnussen on the DRS, and we're going to watch the visor cam here as we come across the line to start our last lap. And across the line we go, side by side next to George Russell in the Mercedes. In front of him we go before we even reach the first turn. And there it is. Kevin Magnussen is in P8 for your Haas team as of right now, looking to get 3 points, I believe. That's what you would end with. Looking to get 3 points here in Imola, which would help him get back in front of Nico Hülkenberg in the points section. Speaking of Nico Hülkenberg, we look down there. He is about 4 seconds behind Esteban Ocon in P11. Charles Leclerc has finished the race in first. Max Verstappen coming across the line in second. Here comes Sergio Perez. That's a Red Bull P2, P3, which is different from the normal Red Bull P1, P2 that we have been seeing. Fernando Alonso finishing P4. We're going to go back and look at Magnussen real quick. We want to make sure George Russell doesn't get in front of him. Going back, Lance Stroll coming around the last turn here in Imola as he crosses the finish line, P5, finishing out your top 5. 1 Ferrari, 2 Red Bulls, 2 Aston Martins. Lewis Hamilton taking P6 here in Imola, followed by Carlos Sainz, who will take P7, and Kevin Magnussen, the highest finish for Haas, taking P8 here in Imola, followed by George Russell, and then Esteban Ocon finishing out your top 10. Nico Hülkenberg taking P11, Pierre Gasly taking 12, Lando Norris 13, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Alexander Albon, Guan Yu Zhou, Logan Sargent, and Nick DeVries. That is your top 20.
And that's another race done for Fernando Alonso. Out and onto the podium steps Charles Leclerc, the driver from Monaco, really deserving of that top 3 spot.
That gives them their first win of the season, and it was really well deserved.
Well, Formula One certainly feels at home in Italy, and it looks like those three feel right at home too. Now, Karun, I'd be really keen to know, how do you think the Haas team will be reflecting on today's results?
They didn't do too badly today. A pretty respectable outcome as far as they'll be concerned. But they need to keep pushing. They can't afford to sit back.
And that's about it for our time here in Imola.
For the next Grand Prix, make sure you join us at the renowned city circuit of Monaco. Prepare yourselves for one of the most legendary rounds of the season.
And that is the end of Imola. As we look at the top 10, once again, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen not finishing in first, but finishing in second, Sergio Perez in third, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll, Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, all the way up into P8, getting 4 points. I was wrong. It's not 3, it is 4. 4 points for Haas and himself. George Russell, Esteban Ocon finishing out your top 10. Moving on over to the Drivers' Championship, we got Max Verstappen still in first with 144 points. Charles Leclerc moving up to second with 97. Sergio Perez finishing out the top 3 with 92 points. Carlos Sainz in fourth. Fernando Alonso, George Russell, Lance Stroll, and Lewis Hamilton swapping places right there. Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly finishing out your top 10. Your top 10 in the driver's standing still 2 Red Bulls, 2 Ferraris, 2 Aston Martins, 2 Mercedes, and 2 Alpines. But this is where things get exciting for Kevin Magnussen, as he now has 5 whole points in the Drivers' Championship, putting him in P11, only 4 points behind Pierre Gasly. Hopefully we can get him above one of the Alpines by the end of the year, and maybe have one of our drivers in the top 10 in the drivers' standings. That would be exciting. Nico Hulkenberg dropping down to P12 with 2 points, still in front of Alexander Albon, who also has 2 points. Only 13 drivers on the track, on the grid right now, who have points, and only 4 of them don't have double digits. Maybe we can get double digits for one of my drivers before Pierre Gasly, but that would be a challenge in itself. And here we have the constructor standings. Red Bull number 1, Ferrari number 2, Aston Martin, Mercedes, Alpine, Haas, Williams, AlphaTauri, and then the other 2, McLaren and Alfa Romeo, down there at the bottom. They're not in this screenshot. I completely forgot about them, but they're irrelevant to our story at the moment. It was around lap 60, 61, I believe it was, that I realized I wasn't recording. I had been talking the entire race and trying to get everything perfect, because I don't like doing the over voice or the voice over for these videos, because they're already so long, and it's easier to just voice over and get my live reactions as things are happening. So that's why this ending is a little different from the other endings. I'm very sorry. It will be better in the next video for Monaco, which is next and probably be out later after this video, either later today or tomorrow. But I am going to start putting out more Formula 1 Manager. I know it's been a while since I've done Formula 1 23. I do have one in the works. It's just become, I don't know, boring. Boring might be the word. Maybe I just got done with the first season and was a little upset with the whole, whatever you want to call it, thing. The fudge. What is it called? Contract system. I just wasn't a fan of that, and it kind of made me mad that I had to restart. But I'm sure more of those will come out again. But as of right now, that is your video for Imola from Formula 1 Manager 23. Up next is Monaco, like I mentioned before, like the announcers have mentioned already. And yeah, I'm excited. Hit that like button if you like what you saw. Hit that subscribe button if you can't wait for the next video. Both of those buttons don't do anything more than help my confidence in making these videos, which I have come to really enjoy doing. I just need to find more time to do so. But with all of that said, until next time, goodbye.